Small fight, forgotten, back to normal. The Perfect Nanny by Slimani. Spoiler discussion. Well, let's get into it. Have you ever stood outside in the rain, alone, in the dark? No person to call, no place to go. Not a single living soul in this world who cared whether you came home or not. That howl, that silence where even sound feels like it's avoiding you. I hope you haven't. I genuinely hope no one has to know what that feels like. But that is exactly where Louise lives. Not just at night, every day of her life. And so for me, this story is not about a nanny who kills two children, who she also, by the way, loves. It's about what surrounded her, what used her up, the world that made her invisible for so long she stopped existing even to herself. And Slimani shows you exactly what that looks like. Not in the big dramatic moments, in the small ones. Louise got sick once. Miriam and Paul's first reaction was frustration. They had plans. It didn't occur to them until she called that she's human enough to get sick. And there is a moment at a swimming pool. Paul looks at Louise, sees her white, never-seen-sun type body, and thinks, oh, she's not that old, and she's pretty. How come I never noticed that? As if he really saw her for the first time. And then Wafa, another nanny who had her own invisible life, brought to France, left to figure it out alone. She comes by one day and casually cooks for Louise. And our main character sits there and realizes this is the first time in her entire life that someone has cooked for her. And another moment, Hervé asked her about music once, and she realized she didn't even know what she liked, because she had never really listened to music. Not because she couldn't, because no one ever made space for her to have time for herself. Used, invisible, and ignored. This is not loneliness, and it's not isolation either. This is being whitewashed from reality. And yet, she still kept on going, because when Miriam and Paul were looking for a nanny, Louise happily accepted. Their life became easier. Miriam got her career back. Paul got his evenings back with his friends and time for himself. The weight lifts for them, but that weight doesn't disappear. It moves onto Louise's shoulders, along with everything else. The meals, the routines, the rhythm of their whole life. And they needed her to keep showing up, not because they loved her, not because she was family, but because without her there is chaos. And in situations where any other nanny would be fired, Louise stays. Small fight, forgotten, back to normal. Every single time. And for a while, that is enough. She feels her power, she feels needed. She starts to feel like this is her family. Louise only thinks that she belongs, that she also matters. She comes earlier and earlier, leaves later and later, to her home in a sketchy neighborhood, where even the shower stopped working. So, of course, she prefers to stay with them. Of course, she dissolved into their life, because their life was warm and full, and hers hollow. And then, one day, she sees it, she realizes that what she thought all this time, what she felt towards this family, was all an illusion. And all illusions eventually break. She realizes that Adam is starting school, children grow up. That is just how life goes. For Miriam and Paul, it means the next chapter. full of happiness, excitement and new experiences. For Louise though, it means the end of the only chapter she has. No savings, no family. Her landlord wants her out. She has nowhere to go. After everything she gave, after all those years, the street is her next stop. Nobody stopped Louise or said no thank you, that's enough. They just kept taking until one day there was nothing left for her to offer. You can spend a whole life being useful to people who never actually needed you.